Let's just go.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today we're gonna talk. I should introduce you first. What should I call you? Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today we are gonna talk about our different cultures.
When you're more relaxed, you kind of speak easier. Don't rush into it.
I'm so
She would. Assalamu alaikum. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna remember that when I pray.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm here with my husband, and today we are gonna compare our different cultures. Me, if you don't know me from before, I am a Norwegian revert, so I have a typical Christian Norwegian background, and my husband.
I'm Malay Singaporean.
Yeah, so we have some differences and some similarities we'll hopefully be able to show you guys. So, quick disclaimer, of course we will be talking about our specific lives, our experiences, so they might differ from other people from the same culture or country.
What exactly is it, if you want to tell the people?
So we are drinking bandung, which I actually didn't like the first time I tried it many years ago. I have grown to like it, like the same with durian, honestly. Yeah, either way. So this is bandung, which is a rose syrup drink.
There's a rose syrup drink.
Yeah.
With condensed milk and evaporated milk,
Yeah. A lot of stuff that we don't normally have in Norway. So we thought we'd start with growing up and leaving the nest. I would say that's very different for our cultures. In Norway, it depends when you leave the nest, but it's not like your culture for sure.
No.
Norway is a big country, so if you live further up north, you might live far away from a school that you want to start, like high school, I guess. And at the age of 16, you might have to move out to actually go to that school, and it's very common. It's also very common to actually move out when you are maybe 18, because you're now an adult, and some parents might say, hey, start paying rent, because living is expensive,
right.
Which I guess it is everywhere. And then the kid, or the adult kid, has the choice of actually start paying a bit of rent at home or move out. So compared to your culture, which I thought was very, I guess not odd, I've heard about it, but I would say it's very specific to Muslim culture.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say Muslim culture, but maybe Singaporean Malay culture. It's very normal to live with your parents till you're married, even sometimes. And then even after you're married, you might buy the house that your parents live in, and then you continue to live with them. So it's kind of like
never leaving the nest.
Never leaving the nest. Yeah, you buy the nest. So basically, it's very normal for people to just buy the houses that they grew up in, and then they live with their parents. They continue to live with their parents. Others would, get married, live with their parents for a while, and then move out when their house is ready, for example.
So the next little topic is our traditional clothing, and when I started thinking about this first, I thought it would be very different, but actually there's a lot of similarities. So in Norwegian culture, we have our national costume, which is the bunad, and we have over 450 different types, meaning that one bunad is looking one specific way, and you can't change it. It has a very specific recipe, and that is coming from a very specific place in Norway. So only people who actually have ties to that area, generation, maybe your grandparents were from the area, or maybe you are born there, you can have that kind of bunad.
It's kind of very regional.
Yeah,
right?
Very regional. We are always proud of showing off where we're from in Norway, especially the north.
Yeah. What exactly makes it different from different regions? Is there a different type of material? Is it type of way it's worn or something? I don't know.
So it's all like a dress with the inner shirts, but the designs, the floral patterns, if there is, mine specifically has, because it's actually not a bunad, it's a costume. It's not registered as a bunad because it's a very small area. I think my bunad is the 364th that was made. So very, very small, not many people have this. So mine specifically is from very far up north where I was born, And the flowers at the bottom of the skirt are all the flowers that survive above the Arctic Circle. And they're very expensive. You have only one bunad, most likely, throughout your life. You get it when you maybe 14, 15.
Yeah.
Very expensive, and you have brooches of silver and, buttons and a lot of stuff, earrings even, purses. And you
There's
have
a lot
that.
of like accessories.
Yeah, a lot of expensive silver accessories. And you have that from maybe you get it at 14 until maybe you could pass it to your grandchildren one day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also where we differ.
In Malay culture, we have baju kurung, which essentially is, obviously baju kurung is more of a general term. It fits for both males and females.
Okay.
I think in Malaysia, for example, there's some small differences between regions, like depending, but for the most part, a lot of the baju kurungs are very similar, very much the same. And I'm speaking from like a Singaporean Malay background, yeah. We kind of...
You wear the baju kurungs for a lot more occasions. I would
Yeah,
say
we
wear the bunads.
I think the baju kurung is a lot more like... It's a lot more casual of when it's worn, but also we can wear it to like very...
Formal.
This very formal events, like say if it's a wedding or if it's like an event of some sort, you can use it to the masjid, I think it's very flexible in that sense. You can wear a baju kurung to many different types of occasions and it will fit.
Yeah.
Some people even wear it at home, and of course there's different levels of baju kurung. You have like tailor-made ones, and it can get very expensive as well, but I think for the most part it's more of a traditional clothing which we use, like I said, on many different types of occasions. And yeah, I think it's more, I won't say accessible, but like it's more, I guess, versatile in that sense of when and how it's used, for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah, because I would say bunads are worn specifically on our national day, but we can also wear it at weddings. Not as like it is common, but it's also very common to just wear a nice formal dress or whatever the attire is. But we don't wear them for Christmas. Or again, you can, but I did not grow up wearing my bunad at Christmas. It's a hassle to get on, first and foremost. But you wear baju kurung for Eid.
Yeah, we wear baju kurung for Hari Raya or Eid. It can be used, like I said, whether it's like a formal thing.
And you can even buy new ones 1 year.
Yeah, I guess it is kind of, not all the time, I guess, but like some people do it, where we buy new baju kurungs every year. And I think it also, again, it kind of overlaps with Islamic culture where it's sunnah to wear new clothes on Hari Raya, on Eid. So that's why we buy new baju kurungs. That's why we buy new baju, it's also in line with like the Islamic sunnah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So next one is mannerism, etiquette, or respecting elders or people who are older than you, which it's not heavily focused on in Norwegian culture. I guess you can start, because I thought this was very different when I first got to know you and your family, is the names or titles you have for the ones who are older than you.
Yeah.
In Norway, in Norwegian culture, you call siblings by their names or nicknames for brother, sister, or big brother, depending, also very different from each family. I still call my sister Kaka, I guess. Just the Norwegian version.
Yeah. You should say
which is Dada.
Just that, right?
Just that.
Yeah, okay.
But my brother, I call him by his name, or like a shortening of his name. But you have always that title, kind of, I would call it, before you then say the name.
We would put something in front of the name, like Abang or
Kaka,
and then the name. So it's like Abang Lukman, Abang Hidir, or we can just say Abang at the same time. For me, for my family, like we were always taught that it was disrespectful to call your elder siblings just by the name. And then sometimes when we're mad at each other, when we get angry at each other, we just call them by the names.
Really?
And then they get like, you call me by my name, like, it's a very like
that is very different. I call, because we are married, so his parents, my in-laws, what is normal for? What is
Okay.
normal to call your in-laws? Because I call
think-
them the same you guys call them, like mom and dad.
Yeah, like
In Malay.
as far as I know, like whether you're like just because we're in a international marriage, like in the what do we say interspecies, like
Wow.
interracial,
Interracial.
just because we're interracial
Couple.
marriage doesn't mean it's any different from like a Malay couple, you know. Usually, like the Malay couples will refer to their in-laws as the word mother and father in Malay. So like ma aba, you know. It doesn't matter, like for the most part, unless the in-laws themselves they have like a specific name, a
Yeah.
specific word they want
Yeah.
to use. But yeah, for the most part, we refer to our in-laws as ma aba or like whatever.
The kids actually call them.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. Because I do call your parents ma and abba.
Yeah,
I've always known them as ma and abba. Like
Yeah.
I called them that even before we got married.
yeah.
And you actually, you call my parents mom and dad in English.
Yeah, and I still kind of have like a bit of like a hurdle because I remember when your parents were telling me like, you know, they told me just call us by our first names. And I'm like,
That doesn't work.
that's like
Because that is
that's,
what.
that seems very disrespectful, but I understand at the same time.
But I think
It's-
they like that you call them mom and dad. Like
Yeah.
it's because it is English and not Norwegian. Because it would be weird if you would call them mama or papa, which
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
Norwegian mom and dad. You know.
It kind of like directly translate or like.
I think
kind
it works because it's very special to them. No
Yeah.
one else calls
Right.
them mom and dad in English.
Yeah.
That's only you.
And I don't think it would be. I don't feel comfortable calling them by their first names. I think it's very
That,
like
that would be the norm.
disrespectful in
Yeah.
my opinion. It's very
Yeah.
disrespectful to call someone by their first name. Or like not someone, but like to call my
The elder.
in-laws,
Yeah.
especially elders by their first name.
In Norway, like it would be common for the son-in-law to or the daughter-in-law to call them by their first names. That is the norm. So I think it's special for my parents that I actually call them mom and dad. I think they think it's nice because I think it's different and it's like again it's very different. It's very specific to you and us.
Yeah, and I think that's also something that it's not so much I like, but I think it translates well from different cultures, even though, you know, for them, for people in Norway, it's very common to be called by their first names. I think it's nice that I kind of bring that from my culture in that
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Just because, and if they really didn't want to be called that, you know, obviously I wouldn't, you know.
But it's not an issue.
Yeah, but it's not an issue with them, so yeah. And I think one thing that you kind of had to get used, like one thing you had to get used to was like salam, and not just giving salam like salam alaikum, but like giving salam. So in Malay culture, we have this thing where whenever we meet our elders or whatever it is, like oftentimes relatives, as you know, our relatives, we give like salam, which is like salam means to greet, or like also means to like offer a hand in that sense, like a physical motion with the hand, like salam, like that. Yeah, so like
that doesn't. It's not a thing in Norway.
yeah, we kiss the back of the hand of the elder person.
But you don't really kiss, do you? Like
we don't
if I
really
use
we don't
yours,
kiss with our lips, but like kind of like
the nose.
yeah, kind of like towards the nose. Yeah, like that.
I've learned. But so this is something I learned too late, and this is really embarrassing to me. So basically, my experience is that I thought this all the way up to your nose, because for some you just kind of just take the hand.
You just kind of like it's like a handshake essentially.
Yeah.
You say salam alaikum, then you
But
give
that
the
was like give salam when I,
Yeah.
was first a part of the family. And then your brother's wife, or now they're married, visited.
oh yeah, brother's wife, like,
Yeah. So I guess my sister
sister-in-law.
in-law. Yeah.
My
Right?
sister-in-law as well.
Yeah. Yes, your
Yeah.
sister-in-law. So, and she's a bit older than me, like not many years. So I thought, she's older than me. I have to take her hand and put it all the way up to my nose.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I did. She was like, no, it's fine. I was like, what?
Yeah, like
I was so embarrassed because I thought I finally got it right.
right.
Older, no matter how close in age, just older, you put it all the way to the nose.
Yeah, I guess like
but I learned that that's not necessary.
Yeah, it's not necessary. Like for the most part, just
Yeah.
like as a base, you just give salam. Like you touch your nose, the back of the hand. If they're like your parents, your aunts, your grandparents, your uncles.
In-laws. Because you give salam like that to my parents.
Okay, yeah.
And that is very new, very different.
Yeah, I
to
don't
them.
think they really like have.
Every time you meet them, they're kind of shocked because they forget that it happens.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah.
But like also at the same time, it's just like it's not.
And they're cool with it again.
Yeah,
It's
as
just,
long as they're cool with it, that's
Yeah.
it's fine with them.
it's just new.
As long as they're fine with it, then yeah, okay.
So that was that. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe you learned something. Honestly, it was really cool going through our similarities and also differences. And if you have anything that's similar, please comment below and tell us what it is. It's always cool to learn. And yeah, I'll just end it there. Anything to add?
No.
And okay, goodbye.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. We're gonna talk about cultural differences. I was gonna say this is my husband, but you do the intro, okay? It wouldn't be right if I did the intro. It makes no sense.
We can't get any further than this.
Yeah.